Welcome back to episode 3 of these vlogs that I've started doing. So this week was actually a pretty busy one, so I thought I'd share some of what we've been doing. So the first gig of the week was actually with September Film. Here is where we are. A production company here in Stockholm that I've worked with from now and then these past couple of years. And it was actually my first ever internship while I was studying. So it's nice to see that they want my help even today. I just followed the person in front that was talking and having a nice clean close-up of that person. And I can't complain about the location either. It was like in the middle of the street in the most central part of Stockholm. And it was my first time here and I think it went really well. On to day 2 of this week's productions. Today it was a live on tape session, which is very nice because then we have total control of the situation and the lights and everything. Sometimes we do productions here with a live audience as well, and in those cases we need to use Fresnels way in the back of the corners because we don't want to disturb the audience. But today we have full control of it and we can do whatever we want. Instead of those Fresnels we use big soft boxes and we use the lantern to get a bright enough light in the room in general, and then we use the 2 soft boxes to punch in as key lights on the people's faces. But what's interesting about this room is that these blue backgrounds, they aren't quite the same blue. So in one close-up shot of one person and one close-up shot of another person, it can sometimes feel like, wait, is something off here? But it's just different backgrounds with different colors. Anyway, as a ground rule, we had 4 hours to rig everything up and test everything. And I think for these types of productions, it's a very nice ground rule to have, because then you can do all of those micro adjustments that you can see here, and just in general a better looking production. So a couple of times I noticed that the camera that we were using, it was behaving quite strange. After lots of testing, powering it off, powering it on, after like 45 minutes we finally came to realization what was the problem. When we were moving around in the studio, we think that we managed to get some like electrical charge from the mat with our shoes. I was walking around and like rubbing the shoes on the floor, and then I went up to the tripod and I put my hand on it and the camera glitched. So for this solution I removed my shoes for this shoot. That's also why it's really nice to have that extra setup time. And for this shoot I also got to try out my new monitor, the HoloLens Mars M1 Anywhere. It's very good for this one. I can't wait to use it for more of these productions, so can highly recommend it. Moving on to the last production of this week. I traveled to Strömsholm, which is approximately 1.5 hours from Stockholm, where I live. This is a client that I've started working with since November. I think I covered it in my previous vlog as well. I actually implemented a few new things for this production. Both that HoloLens monitor from my camera setup. So here we have the interview setup. A big soft key light and the camera light to get a little more detail of the face while they're wearing their helmets. I'm actually pretty satisfied with these interviews that we managed to do. When working with this client, we don't usually have that much time because we cover a lot of different scenes throughout the day. But for this, I really want to test out like how can I rig out a nice looking interview using the sunlight from the windows. Yeah, I've learned quite a lot of things about horses these past couple of months. But anyway, this type of production really is a contrast to the previous days, and that's what I like. I like to be out and about and do lots of different types of productions, because that's what I think is important as a filmmaker, that you are out and about and you experience new places and new people and new things, because otherwise you get stuck doing the same things. And with these clients as well, we are really using all of the material that we're filming in a very efficient way. So yeah, really pushing the limits of like what we are aiming for during these days, and it's very interesting to see how this company has started to valuing these video productions more and more and more since we started. That's always a nice feeling when people understand the value of good video production. So let's leave with that note, and I hope you found this vlog interesting. Leave a comment if there's anything you have questions about, and I'll make sure to answer it, and I'll see you in another vlog.